like that shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
A gated community.
Yeah. I just went to Alcatraz last weekend. It was awesome.
I saw a picture of that. How was that?
Dude, unbelievable. I mean, I love history and all, and so I was just like, like mouth open looking around. Like, it was really cool.
Did you feel anything when you were in there?
Dude, it's super eerie, but like in a cool way. I want to go on Halloween at night.
I'm not super...
Dude.
Yeah.
You're a sadist then, aren't you?
No, man.
Is that what that's called?
I think that is what that's called. Thank you, Belly.
You invite being in the eeriest of places.
Right.
The weirdest of places on the weirdest of nights.
Which is normally...
That's got to have a name.
Which is normally not my speed, but when that much history is involved, it's like, put me there,
Yeah. I bet. Alcatraz, how long has that thing been empty?
Since the 60s.
So no one has been in prison there since the 60s.
Right.
Dang. I remember when David Copperfield did a whole deal from there where he escaped Alcatraz.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it's a mile and a half from the shore, and there's great whites all in that bay right there.
Just waiting for somebody to jump in.
Just waiting on somebody. Be like, I wish somebody would. Just waiting.
Just come on in.
Yeah.
Where are you at today? You look like you're in a studio.
I'm at Black River here in Nashville.
Oh, cool. You working on some new music or just a cool backdrop?
Yeah, well, just we have been, but this week we are in here today just doing kind of some content stuff later.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Are you out with Luke right now? Are you out doing some shows and what have you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be at the show in Houston next weekend.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Be there?
No, I'm not in Houston. Actually, I'm on most of these shows, but I'm not in Houston. Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be asked. Do you know Zach Massey?
Yeah, I know him real well. Yeah.
Zach's my best friend, and he asked me before this tour kicked off, I got something I want you to read. Would you mind reading over this? And it's the intro. So I got to voice the intro for the tour this year.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. All right, well,
I've never done one before.
Well, now I know what voice that is.
That's me on there. That's the only tour I've ever done before. And he said, there's a great voice guy. His name is Scott Fisher, friends of ours. And he goes, I said, what kind of style? What are you looking for on this? And he said, give me your best Scott Fisher.
Right.
I said, okay, well, that's what you got.
That's what you got.
It pales in comparison to Scott, but that's what I gave him. Yeah, exactly. Next to, I was going to say next to Al Dean, you're probably the biggest Georgia Bulldog fan, but I'd say you might actually trump him because you're actually on the field. You're actually in there helping the guys train.
Man, I feel like I would probably, not actually, but if it came down to it, I might fist fight somebody over the top Georgia Bulldog title. Not Aldine. I wouldn't want to pick a fight with Aldine. So when I was in school there, I was a student assistant and a manager. So what that means is I had an on-the-field role. So I worked with the quarterbacks, and I was kind of Coach Bobo at the time, his quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator. I was his kind of right-hand man. And so I would set up all the drills. I would be the first one out there kind of running routes before practice. I would be a lot of times we had 5 quarterbacks, so I would be the 6th one when we needed to do stuff in pairs. And then, would just make sure that, and a lot of it was make sure that practice on our end goes well so that when this drill or this period of practice ends, the next one's set up, and I could tell him, all right, we're going to field 2, we're doing this, we'll be with defense, and then so everything's just kind of set up for him. But we also on the management side, I would also take care of like all the quarterbacks stuff and like make sure all the equipment was just right, and the footballs are a big deal. So I was always the guy like making the game footballs, which are to a quarterback they're very particular about, and so I would. Sometime during practice, they would go, I really love the feel of this ball. Put it over, for game balls. So
save that one.
Yeah.
Would you do anything to them? Were there things that that you could do? I know they have to be a certain, or I assume they do have to be a certain poundage and pressure, right?
Yeah. So you can do. They have to be a certain pound, which the officials before the game, they go in there and make sure of that. But as far as the texture of the ball, not really. I mean, you just out there at practice, just every ball's got its own kind of own personality in life. It just depends on how it's been, how many times it's gotten caught, how many times it's hit the ground, and all this over time creates this distinct kind of feel of each ball. And so some of them are just, and every quarterback's different. Some of them like them really slick, kind of. Some of them like them almost new. And so you just always kind of, and sometimes I would find one where I would go, this feels great. And I would go, like Stafford was the guy there that was Matt Stafford. And so I would kind of toss it to him and be like, hey, game ball, this feels right. And he'll go, do the thing, go yay or nay kind of thing. So. And
then do you mark them? Do you have a Sharpie and you?
Yeah. So I would just put
like on there or something?
I would just put on like one of the stripes on the corner. I would just put like a small X, and I just know that's game ball.
I grew up in Oklahoma, so for a little while now we've had a good team. Mm-hmm. Times we've had a great team. How does it feel to be a fan of the best team in college football right now?
Number one team in the nation. I mean, it feels
number one team, man.
Pretty surreal. I mean, it's
and legitimately, that's not a preseason. No one. It's not like we were ranked number 2, I think, at the beginning of the season.
Right.
And when that came out, I was like, stop that. That nobody's played a game yet. There's no reason why Oklahoma should be at number 2 until you do something. And that's kind of, I don't know. I don't remember where you guys are ranked, but where you are now is legitimate. It's from where you started to what is this game? 6?
Yep.
Week 6? Week 7?
Yeah, week 7. Yeah. So, it's, and I'll say this, I don't know what happens from here on out, but I think they've definitely earned that for now, that ranking. But, also they seem to have something special with that team. They have that it factor where you just go, man, not only are these guys talented, but they love playing for each other. And I think that's the sweet spot. And it don't always happen, I mean, different personalities on the team and different whatever. But this team seems to have really gelled, and I think, we'll see how the rest of the season goes. But it's really exciting.
Maybe we'll see each other in January.
I know we might.
That'd be fun.
That's not far fetched at all.
No, it really isn't.
No.
After we put in a backup quarterback and came back to beat Texas,
that
was a lot of fun to do. But
wild.
It still wasn't.
That was wild.
The biggest comeback in that rivalry history, 117 years.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
Man.
Did you grow up playing football?
Yeah, playing high school and like middle school and stuff.
Quarterback there?
No, I played I played receiver and safety.
But you just got in with the quarterbacks.
Right.
You were,
just kind of started learning assistant. And was a, just sponge.
How come you didn't pursue that? Being a receiver, playing football?
Oh, I mean, just wasn't good enough. I mean, just flat out wasn't good enough, to go further than high school.
I found I wasn't big enough.
Yeah, I mean, I was all the things. I wasn't big enough. I wasn't fast enough. I wasn't good enough at all. So
there's like just 1 year.
Yeah.
It feels like it just changes.
I tried.
Like, oh, wow. Everybody got bigger.
I tried real, real hard. And so that can get you through in high school, but not college.
Where'd you grow up?
Harlem, Georgia, which I actually have their
Harlem
T-shirt on this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's outside of Augusta. So about 20 minutes outside of Augusta. Little bitty town.
In football?
We were okay in football. Good baseball team program, really.
Okay, cool.
I think we didn't win one when I was there, but I think they have like 6 state titles at Harlem.
That's cool. Is everybody there a Bulldogs fan?
Oh, my gosh.
Seemed like it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have one buddy.
You're an outcast.
I have one buddy who is a Georgia Tech fan. And he's that guy that, like, he found out early on that everybody was a Georgia fan, and he goes, okay, everybody's a Georgia fan, so I'm going to be a Georgia Tech fan. Just because I don't want to, that's just him, his personality.
Wanted to stand out a little bit, and
That's
he
right.
does, I guess.
That's right. Oh, he does. He does.
All right, so when you're not doing music and it's not football season, what are you doing?
Well, these days there's not a lot of time outside of music, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But Yeah, so I love sports. So, I go to a Georgia game when I can. I love sitting in a deer stand. I love chasing a turkey. And, besides that, so I'm a new homeowner as of like a year ago. So there's always something to do there. You know that.
Sure.
And so, I just play golf. I like to play golf. So, between all that stuff, that's between music, whether it's writing or playing, or now I've been on radio tour a bunch. If it's not that, I'm either on the golf course or in a deer stand or chasing a turkey or going home to see my parents, stuff like that.
Do you know who Steven Ranelli is?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was just watching the pod right before we did this. I was watching the podcast with Steven and Joe Rogan, and they were talking about a buddy of his that he does a lot of turkey hunting. Steven does a lot of hunting just in general, but his buddy was turkey hunting and had mountain lions come into his call.
Oh,
have you ever had that happen?
No, I've had coyotes come in.
Coyotes, yeah. You mentioned that too,
but not mountain lions. It's the turkey hunting thing is. Actually was about to pull the trigger on one time, and a turkey, and out of nowhere, this coyote comes in, and actually attacked our decoy, and he missed the live turkey. Live turkey ran off, and he turned back and attacked the decoy. So pretty wild thing to watch, but it all happened so fast.
That's insane.
I wish I would have had a camera, but it all happened it's 2 seconds, but done. But it was crazy to watch.
He had mentioned that he had had a black bear come into his call.
Oh man,
coyotes come into his call.
Yeah,
had never had a mountain lion, but his buddy had 3. It was a mom and her 2 cubs.
I would literally die a natural death right there.
I'll send you a video if you haven't seen this. There was a guy the other day has a mountain lion that he has a cell phone up in one hand and his 9mm in the other because he was out hiking, and a mountain lion it looks like in the video the mountain lion's about 6 feet from him.
Oh wow.
And he keeps telling the guy, or he keeps telling the mountain lion, get back, like he can understand, but he keeps trying to get him to back up, and he pounces at him. And so you see the phone go away because he drops it, and then you hear the gun go off.
Oh my gosh.
And he shot the mountain lion in the eye or in the face.
Oh man. And
then he's so upset. He's so mad that he had to do that.
He had to do it. Yeah. Man.
Yeah. But when you see the video, you see how close he is. I'll shoot that to you.
Shoot that to me, man. I'd love to see that.
It's insane.
I can't even imagine.
Musically. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying I can't even imagine that situation, just how fast your heart will be pounding.
Well, if you're a hunter, if you're a gun guy, anytime you go hiking, make sure you take a gun with you. Because that right there is realistic.
Yeah.
Musically, who were some of your big influences?
So when I was a kid, it was, the first song I remember hearing and going, I love that, and that was my first song was "Oceanfront Property," George Strait, written by Dean Dillon when I was a kid. But George Strait, I think, has probably just been my favorite of all time. That's the guy. If I'm going on a long drive, or if I'm just kicking back and I'm unplugging, George Strait's who I'm putting on. Now, when I was growing up, though, my dad loves Motown, and he loves Don Williams and Merle Haggard, and my mom loves Elvis and Al Green and old gospel music. And so I love all that stuff too. But 90s country was the thing that I got to find, as a kid. And so Alan Jackson, George Strait, I'm a big Keith Whitley fan. And so
who's not?
Yeah, I know.
If you're not a Keith Whitley fan, what are you doing?
What are you doing with your life? So, but then when I was in college, I found Eric Church, and so he's been my biggest. I was at a show at Georgia Theater there in Athens one night, and the first time I ever saw Eric, I didn't even really know about him before because the first album was out, and maybe the first song was at radio. But he sang a song called "Lightning," which was off his first record, and it's a very acoustic driven song about a guy's last, I lasted hours on kind of death row and like his thought process, and I was like, man, this is different. So I really dove into his albums after that, and that he's been kind of as far as my career and my style, he's probably been my biggest inspiration. But those other guys were like the guys who made me love music and love country music.
They set it all up for you.
Yeah, they set my moment up.
Had to be cool, in that time, Alan Jackson being from Georgia.
Oh,
and you being a kid growing up in Georgia.
From Noonan, Georgia. Yeah, I mean it was. Yeah. I mean that's your hero. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he's just like me. And I didn't pick up a guitar until after that Eric Church show. And so I always loved their music, but I didn't even get into I didn't get into playing until after the Eric Church show when I was like, wait, I got to do that.
That's so cool. And now you have a number one song that you wrote that Eric Church is on.
Right. Does to Me with Luke, which is
is that even real life?
I can't, I don't know how it is. Somehow it is, but it's, I mean, otherworldly how that all kind of came together. The most full circle moment, that I could ever have, I think.
You mentioned you have a number one, so you have 4 number one songs, right, all that you wrote, all sung by Luke Holmes. Yep. When It Rains, It Pours, Even Though I'm Leaving, Living on You, and Does to Me, the one with Eric Church. How did you and Luke connect?
So Luke and I, the first weekend I moved to town, we were, I didn't even, I had seen Luke kind of on social media and stuff, but it was 2014, so before he even moved to town. I was the third day I was in town. It was my birthday, and I remember the only other person I knew in town. I called them and go, "Hey, you want to go, eat or something for my birthday? I don't know anybody." And they were like, "Sure." So we go to Buffalo Wild Wings. So while we're sitting there, he goes, "Hey, I got a buddy coming in town, staying on my couch at the apartment, recording his first few songs here in Nashville. So let's go see him after this." I was like, "All right, cool. I got nothing else to do." So we go to his apartment after, and the guy staying on the couch that weekend was Luke Holmes before he didn't move to town. So that's how we met, my third day in town. So then when he moved in September of that year, I was playing a writer's round out, and I remember kind of seeing him out in there's like this little outside patio you could see from the stage, and I remember seeing him. I'm like, "That's that guy I met, a couple months ago." And so I went out there and said, "What's up?" And that's the night we kind of bonded because he's a big Eric Church fan too.
Sure.
We were talking about, just those early records and almost trying to stump each other on Eric Church songs, and we couldn't do it. And it was like that, that scene in the Step Brothers where they go, "Did we just become best friends?" And it was literally that sort of moment. And from there, we just started hanging out a lot. And then we started writing. And the first song we wrote was Beer Can, which is on his first record. And, man, it was I don't say this a lot, but it's one of those moments that it felt like fate. You know what I mean? It just, because he was the guy that when I met him, it felt like I'd known him forever. We just kind of hit it off, and which you meet those people in life, and you go, "Oh, that was meant to happen," and so that's what it's always felt like.
That's huge. Well, after having that success, getting those cuts, writing those songs, and then having now 4 of them be number one songs for you, was your goal always to be an artist and go out on the road and do your own thing, and just the writing happened by happenstance, or did you want to be a writer and then that success led to you wanting to do your own thing?
Yeah, so the writing just kind of happened by happenstance, and I'm very thankful for it. But I always tell people, sometimes people go, why not just be the writer, and which would make a lot of sense, and like that would be a great life, but for me that wasn't the thing that kept me up at night thinking about before I moved to town. It was like seeing those images of it was that connection with the crowd. It was, that energy of I'm going to give it to you, you got to give it to me back. And having people latch on to those songs. And there was something special about that I always, that you can't get as a writer, and you can in a certain way, but not not the same as the performer. So that's why I always tell people that ain't the thing that kept me up at night, and until I see that through, it's always going to be that way. So
2 different connections.
2 different ones. Yeah.
one probably kind of, I would imagine, kind of fulfills the other one.
Right.
What you don't get from one thing, you get from the other.
100%. It's two different hats, so.
Well, I think I looked back through some of your stuff that was up on Spotify. I think the earliest one I found was 2013.
Oh man,
is that
that's
right?
way back. Yeah.
Did you go back? Is there anything before then that is out there publicly?
No, I don't think so. That would have been probably the first stuff.
Your most recent one is called the Larkin Hill Mixes.
Yep.
This is your new EP.
Yep.
5 songs on this. We've been playing "Girl in It" on Yee Yee Radio. This
awesome.
whole EP though is great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
We love "Girl in It," and we're getting a lot of feedback from our listeners too.
That's great, man.
It feels good.
That's great. Yeah. In that song, it was like there's love songs, right? And there's heartbreak songs, and what I really wanted is, I think we've all been there, but man, I've been twisted up by girls in my life, and like. Not and when I say twisted up, there's a good and a bad where you go when you feel that spark and you go, man, I done messed up now because I'm feeling something, and you're kind of falling for this person, and that's what that first verse and the second verse is about. But I've also been the guy that I think even if it's not in a romantic relationship, we've always had that moment where we looked in the mirror and go, hey, that's on me, and like I'm hurting, and so. I really wanted to find a song that had both of those things in it. And, I always want to put stuff out that's lyrically got a lot there. And I felt that song said a lot and still felt like a song that you could turn on after work at 5 and unplug, and it still worked for that too, because of the tempo of it and the way it feels. And so, and that's kind of where I want to live. It's like, I want it to feel good for the listener, but I also want it to say something. And if you do take a minute, and you get past that first listen and you listen to those lines the second and third time, it's like it's deeper than it may sound sonically. And so, and that's what I would love to kind of keep doing. So,
man, you're doing it well.
Thanks,
clearly.
man.
Something's working.
Thank
right?
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In the Nashville no one knows it better than you guys there in the middle of it. Nashville can be a rough place. You also have something else that I stumbled across while I was doing some research, and that was a Pretty Good Ball.
Yeah.
Tell me what this is about.
It's a mental health fund that we set up. And so for me during the pandemic, I finally had time to stop and kind of take stock of stuff. And, for me, I realized that like, not only was I not putting enough energy towards certain areas of my life, but also I realized that I was probably hurting in ways I didn't realize because I was just going. And so what I did is I go, you know what, I'm going to explore. I'm just going to go talk to someone and just go, hey, this is how I'm feeling, and what I realized is that I realized how helpful that was for me. And I realized just talking about stuff helped a lot. And I realized that it wasn't as scary as I thought. And so then I go, all right, if I'm feeling this way, I know a lot of people are, especially here in the music community. So, but there's also was this issue with, especially in country music, this kind of like stigma about we don't talk about that, or we don't, that's not a place we're going to go. And so, because I was always, not, in my mind, it was always, all right, well, you just got to be tough enough. That's all it is. You just got to be tougher or whatever. And the message I wanted, so Pretty Good Ball does two things. It raises money so we team with Music Health Alliance here in Nashville. And so it's a fun, we'll do fundraisers. We've done a couple, and you can also donate. But what it does is it funnels to Music Health Alliance, and people in the music community, songwriters, musicians, artists, can go and apply anonymously. And then you can kind of get, some therapy or whatever kind of paid for through that, through Pretty Good Ball. And it's kind of, and that part of it's kind of set up for, Nashville's a tough town, man. And I think the people who are maybe suffering the most are the ones that have been here and not, there's a lot of people that can't afford that even though they need it. And so that's what, that's kind of set up for those people. On the other side of it, which I think may be even the most important part, is it's set up to kind of open the conversation in country music about it and kind of destigmatize it. And so the message that, and I knew that I kind of needed to be the face of that if I was going to do it, because I'm just kind of one of the guys, and not somebody that would normally ever just sit around and talk about that. I'm just, what they would, this old Georgia boy, small town.
How do you even bring it up?
Right.
Yeah. How do you even bring it up?
So my hope was that people would go, man, if Ray's like cool, we'll talk about this. Like, it's okay that I'm feeling this way. And also, my message was, what I really want it to be is just kind of two things can be true at once, right? You can be, you can write country songs, you can drink beer, you can like, quote unquote, kick ass, all that stuff you can still do and be tough as nails, and still this be going on, in your mind and heart. And so I think that's the main thing I want to get across with that. And so since last fall, it's become a passion of mine. So
there's a lot of people who can talk about it. And there's a lot of people who do talk about it. There's much fewer that do something about it.
Right.
And we see that in every walk of, of our life, every element of our life where we may be having trouble, or maybe, you're out of shape.
Right.
But you talk about it a lot. You talk about things that you're going to do. And then there are people who do it and get in shape. And then there's people talk about this, talk about mental health, talk about problems that, especially in the community, and even though outside looking in, it looks big.
Right.
I know that the community in Nashville, the community of singers and songwriters is very, very, very small.
Very small and tight knit.
Very small and tight. Yeah. And to have something like this that is doing something about it rather than just talking about doing something about it is wonderful. And I'm glad we get a chance to talk about it here today and help spread the word. Where do people go? Just go. I know it's on your website. Yeah. Is that the easiest place to go?
You can go there, and it's there, but also just prettygoodball.com, and you can go and kind of learn about it. And and it's got its own Instagram page and stuff that,
great.
We're trying to do a better job kind of keeping it updated. But we had one event, and then we've had a bunch of people kind of, donating stuff, but we're working on events for, later this year and next year. And so, each one of those events will be different. But each time it'll be kind of focused around that kind of, that conversation, and just letting people know that it's like, it's all right, to sit here and even have a little celebration about it, like a celebration about talking about it, whether it's a concert or a golf tournament or whatever. And that there's, a way to help people that are hurting. So
how is, last year was weird. This year, probably even more strange, but at least some concerts are back. How's touring for you the rest of 2021? Is that what we're in?
Yeah, I think so. Busy, which is good. We're on tour with Luke Holmes.
I like hearing that.
Yeah, we're on tour with Luke right now. And then when we're not on tour with Luke, we're on kind of the middle, in between dates. We've been on tour with Ashley McBride. She's on those Luke Holmes tour dates too.
Oh, that's fun.
But it's been awesome getting to know her and her crew. And, Luke and I go back so far, and we have so much history. It's like, it's crazy, man, thinking about we're playing arenas with one of my best friends in the world. That's wild. Even if you were to draw it up, you'd be like, oh, I wouldn't even draw it up like that, because it's not possible. Like, it would never work out that way. And to see it, happening like that, and me having, my first song kind of go to radio during that, it's been set up real well. So, it just feels like, I think over time you kind of see that things sort of fall, they fall into place. And this is one of those things where you go, man, after 2020, you're like, you wonder if, what's going to happen. And so for it to kind of fall like it has now, I think it's just a lesson for me just to go, just trust the process, so.
Yeah, for sure. And if it's this way right now, 2022 could roll out and be even better. 2023 could be even better than that. Hopefully. Yeah. I think we all like to look at I at least do. It helps. And maybe this is part of the pretty good ball process too, is looking at the things that are good and
100%.
Focusing on the things that are good, and trying to look ahead and with some optimism. And you have great success clearly with some number one songs. Hopefully that as that side has taken off for you, hopefully the other side does too.
Yeah.
The part that scratches that other edge.
Right. Yeah. And I think so. And I think, gratitude is huge. And I think as humans, we're conditioned to kind of always look at all right, well, what's next? Or like, what haven't I done that I need to be working on? But I think, taking time to kind of like look around and be appreciative of what is happening now. I think, in a strange way, kind of leads to bigger and better things because it helps your mindset and focus so much to just go, you know what? Yeah, we got things we want to accomplish, but like, let's take a second and look around, even if it's for 10 minutes in the morning, and go, man, I'm thankful for this and thankful for that. Because if you look up, and what's funny is like that, all of a sudden that multiplies, so.
Well, I'm thankful for this time today.
Yeah,
thanks for hanging out with us, Aaron. The Larkin Hill mix is out now. You should check out all the songs. I know like I said, we're playing "Girl in It" on Yee Yee Radio, and keep cranking that. If you're just watching this and you're just a Ray Fulcher fan and you've never checked out Yee Yee Radio, we'd love for you to download the app. It's free. It's 24/7 music and no commercials. And we're going to introduce you to new things that you may not have heard of, but still play songs that you know and love, especially ones that Ray's written. So.
Well, man, yeah, thank you.
That's big songs.
Bailey over here at Black River, she the first time you spun it, she sent me a screenshot, and I remember I messaged you and stuff because I was super excited. Because I've known about Yee Yee Radio, and so I appreciate that. It means a lot. So.
Well, we thank you for your time today, and good to get to know a little bit. I like these interviews much better than the 2.5 minute ones we did on the normal, I'd say terrestrial radio.
Right.
We get a chance to dive in.
Man, I love it.
Talk some stuff that we mutually love, like college football.
Oh yeah, I love getting to, because now I feel like I know you better, and that's awesome. We're buddies now. We know a lot about each other already.
Heck yeah.
So. We'll
be nice until January, and if we're playing, we can talk trash.
Oh yeah, we can.
I only do that with friends.
And then, but during the game though, during the game, it's going to be a no text policy, no trash talking during the game. No, I'm just kidding. If y'all are whooping us, you bring it on. So
bring it on. All right. Yeah. Well, you heard it here. So you said it here publicly where everybody can hear it. So. Yeah. Well, hopefully we get to that point.
That's what I'm looking for. That'd be awesome for both of us.
Me too. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Seeing A&M take out Alabama was
wild.
I didn't even watch. It's just been a long day, and I fell asleep. And I remember feeling my wife reach over and grab the remote off my chest. We were laying in bed and turn the channel. And at that point, I didn't even care because I was and I didn't. So I missed it until the next day.
You want to talk about
watch the field goal?
Talk about utterly shocking that game was for me. I mean,
insane.
It's just, but games, that's what makes college football, to me, the best sport on earth. It's just the pageantry, the passion, and you just never know what movie you're going to see, So, I mean, the Oklahoma-Texas game, same thing. Yep. I mean,
dude, I was done.
You can't
at
draw
the first
it up.
Quarter. No.
Yeah.
And I was so pissed. I was so pissed at the first quarter because the very first play they score on, then we go 3 and out, and they block a punt, and then they score 2 plays later. It's like, this is not the day I was looking forward to. This is not, at least maybe a good game, and then it turned into being one.
What's crazy too is, even going a little bit further back, and this is, I hate to bring up a sore subject, but very similar to the Georgia-Oklahoma Rose Bowl, where y'all were up. I mean, it's 31 to
yes.
It was 31 to 14 going into half, and you go.
That was Baker Mayfield. Here,
and so you go, and maybe we scored a field goal. I think at the very end to make it 30. Anyway, 2 touchdowns down to Baker going into half, and you go, this it just felt in the stands like this ain't happening today for us, and to watch that second half was like. Yeah. I mean, it's like movie stuff. And so that's, to me, what makes college football so special.
That doesn't happen in pros either.
No, it doesn't.
Pros, if somebody gets ahead like that, they're just like, okay, cool. We got another game next week.
Maybe once or twice a season, you'll see some kind of weird thing where somebody will come back from 10 in the fourth quarter, but not this up 21 in the first, or up 28 in the first, or whatever it was. And then by the end, they're 52-51. It's like, how in the world, or see, that was the Ole Miss Arkansas game score. The same. We had 3 games this weekend that were just, how does that even happen? So
Iowa.
Yep.
Iowa game. Mm-hmm. That was a big one too. It was a good weekend.
Yeah.
For some people.
Yeah. Right.
College football.
Equally bad for others. Yeah.
Yeah. Equally bad for others. Exactly.